The best way to enjoy WEMF radio on your mobile device. Download the TuneIn app from your app store, then search WEMF on TuneIn. That only would have taken you 10 seconds to Google. Enjoy, stupid.
Hey, I'm Pat P.
And I'm Meth.
And this is the Geek Down on WEMF Radio.
Leaping forward bionically.
Now that's funky. Ladies and gentlemen, that's what I'm talking to you. I hit the thing, pick up the hold it, pause. Sorry, had to get it out. I gotta breathe. It's like an old episode of Karate Kid.
You gotta use your key, man.
My
Channel your key.
Let's focus. It's all about Zen.
Yeah.
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to another episode of Geek Down here on WEMF. I'm Pat B. That voice you heard right there is not my regular co-host and partner in rhyme, Black Adam Willis. He'll be joining us a little later, but right now, of course, I want to turn your attention to friend of the show and tonight's guest, the one and only Meth.
Hey, how's it going, the Geek Down?
The Geek Down. Wait, why are you giving us the TV Land voice?
I love the TV Land voice, man.
It's like straight home and say, hey,
it's
this
so
is Meth
fun. It's so fun. Hey, welcome. This is my voice for radio.
Oh, I studied radio under the great Jack Casey, and that was one of the main things he taught us. It's like, yeah, what you want to do is not develop a hook or a voice or anything. I'm like, but this is just how I talk.
Yeah, it's true. You got that. You got the velvet. You know.
Well, I'd like to think that's more of a Mel Torme thing. You know?
Oh,
yeah.
Oh, I like that.
Hey, that's doing it for you. Monsters
It's doing it for me.
Interesting lives. Hey. It's all Mel Torme and Harry Anderson. I've got the weirdest inspiration ever. All right, but Meth, you are here to talk to us on this action-packed, fun-filled show about Buffy the Sing-Along.
I'm here to talk to you about Buffy the Sing-Along. Yeah, so I
am fully tumescent, ready to hear about this one.
I can feel that.
Sorry about that. I'll move that to the side.
It's all good, man. We're friends. We're all friends here.
Anyone not watching the video is so confused right now. They're just like, the audio is what's going on
Who
here?
are these people? What is happening?
All right, speaking of video, if you're just listening to us on WMFradio.com, you can also see us if you go to twitch.tv/thegeekdown or tune into the YouTube channel. We're broadcasting live tonight courtesy of our very own Tom.
Yay, Tom.
Yes, sir.
Tom
Hooray.
Tizzle. Tom Tingle.
Tom Tingle.
Whoa.
Tom the Tickler.
Do I have veto power over these nicknames?
No,
or is that just
sir.
gonna stick?
Two-fingered
Tom the
Tom.
Tickler.
It could be Tom the Terminator or Terminator Tom.
Okay, I like that. That's a little better than Tom
There
the
we go,
Tickler.
see?
You sure about that? Three-knuckle deep Tom.
I like Three Knuckle Deep Tom. I'd take that one.
That's my favorite of all.
I would take
so
that
far.
nickname.
Yes,
Yeah.
I'm sticking with that.
All
I
right.
would definitely take that nickname.
Three-knuckle T Dizzle. All right.
In the house.
All right, and on tonight's show, we have an awesome lineup. As I mentioned, we have the Buffy Sing-Along. We've also got a comic, Rough Riders, Ride or Die. Not the ones you're thinking of, though. Rough Riders, starring Tom, what's his name? The president.
That would be
Gerald Ford, yes.
Yeah,
that guy.
Gerald Ford. Gerald Ford and
No, Teddy Roosevelt's Rough Riders have been immortalized in comic form since 2016, or maybe even earlier, and we got to check out the latest in that line, Rough Riders, Ride or Die. Also, along with that, our very own Black Adam Willis will be in house talking to us about...
The writer?
That is correct, the writer. This man has the inside stuff.
Anymore?
Can I answer my phone? What are you talking about?
I just called you like 9 times.
Buddy, right here, 4 bars,
Right,
no
I'm gonna
Adam Willis.
I'll show you this in a minute.
All right, we're having technical difficulties here. I'm sorry, man, but okay. Next time, don't rely on me. I'm unreliable, apparently. And
you just call me. It's cool.
I should have known that.
here you go.
You just call me.
All right, but he's gonna tell us about The Rider, an independent film about perseverance and horse riding.
And horse riding.
Oh.
It's like the wrestler with rodeo.
Wow, that's
Which
okay.
is like, it makes perfect sense when I explain it.
Yeah, you'll break it down for us. We'll go a little less cross-eyed. All right, and along with that, dude, man, I got to see a movie that apparently I didn't realize was that famous, had that kind of juice. But, Meth, you were talking about this before the show without even knowing that we were talking about it tonight.
Yeah, I saw it when you posted it on Facebook, and I actually saw a trailer for it. And I don't remember where I saw the trailer, but I saw like the full 2-minute long trailer, and it looked incredible.
It was some wild stuff.
Yeah.
We're talking about independent film Sorry to Bother You, starring Lakeith Stanfield. And yeah, it is some stuff to talk about. Speaking of horses, we're talking about, and I'll explain why in a little bit. But right now, we're gonna jump right into it with our guest, the Mefster.
Oh, hi. How you doing?
All right, so you are going to tell us all about, now they're doing a special event for this year's Buffy Sing-Along, because you've been on the show to talk about this before.
Yeah, so we're kind of like the resident Buffy guys, me and Awen, who is Holy Crow, and we're kind of the resident Buffy guys in Boston. We've been doing some Buffy sing-alongs and burlesque shows for about 3 or 4 years now. And this time we're kind of doing like a little special thing on June 3rd.
Something new has been added.
What? What? It's true.
Oh, God!
So we're doing a little special thing this time.
Way too excited for this.
We're going to be doing there's going to be a vampire-themed brunch served at Once Somerville, which is great, on June 3rd. And then at 6:30, we're going to be screening a couple of Buffy episodes. One has to be as of yet determined, but probably awesome, because there are maybe 6 episodes of
Who's
Buffy
in charge
that
of
aren't
that?
awesome.
That seems like a serious job. You know what I mean? What if you pick the wrong one?
It weighs on me every night before I go.
It should.
It's really when you pick the wrong one, you get really angry Buffy fans.
Just lying there, unable to sleep.
Well, there is no wrong one, but yeah, you can.
It's
you
really
feel
high
like-
pressure.
Yeah.
It takes a lot. It takes some gumption. And I got it.
Yeah, I think
I got it in
I think you'll be all right.
spades.
Yeah.
Why did I pick a Xander heavy episode?
It's funny. We actually almost always pick Xander heavy episodes.
Oh, come on. Why?
Because they're like the episodes that we've picked in the past have always been, look at how Xander is being an F up. Isn't it funny? Now let's watch Xander F up again.
That's fair. That's fair.
Because so then we screen the musical Once More with Feeling, which, if you've never seen it, spoiler alert, does end with it being Xander effing up again. So it's kind of a nice pair of and he just never ceases to F up.
Yeah. Now
So-
you want to go with crowd favorite Dawn instead. That's the way to go.
So
Buffy's little sister Dawn.
Buffy's little sister Dawn. Yep.
everyone digs Dawn.
Yeah. So if you've ever attended one of our sing-alongs, one of the things is we absolutely encourage, audience interaction. And one of the things is anytime Dawn says something, we gently encourage the audience to yell, "Shut up, Dawn!" So it's pretty fun because she's kind of the insufferable teenager in the episode where she's whining, she sings off key, she has this very odd ballet, and anytime she shows up, we just yell at her to shut up.
It's a bummer though. Dawn is played by Michelle Trachtenberg,
It's true.
which Adam, I think you like me were a Nickelodeon kid growing
Yep.
up. Yeah, so we know Michelle Trachtenberg as the one of the heroes from Pete and Pete.
Yep.
And we grew to love her.
Yep.
As Monica.
Oh, she was. And then she was.
It was Nona and Monica.
Nona and Monica. Yep.
She was Monica, the Girl Scout.
Yep. And then
Yeah.
she was Harriet the Spy too.
Yes, and she was Harriet the Spy.
Yep.
We've got an attachment to her, and then she became this hateful little girl on Buffy.
Terrible.
Gotta work.
Awful
Gotta
child.
work.
Yep. So we do that. We show some Xander episodes. We have some. This time it's actually gonna be really special. We're gonna have a vampire brunch. We're gonna have.
Yeah, you mentioned this.
Yeah. So we've been talking with the owner of Once, and she's really into getting a lovely little brunch together since it's a Sunday thing. So we're gonna have some brunch, some special cocktails, some Buffy and vampire themed cocktails and brunch, and then we're all gonna sing along and have a great time.
Nice.
And Holy Crow's gonna be there vending the baubles and the magic, and we're gonna have some new Buffy merchandise for the people. So
no
yeah, we got some buttons. We might be working on a couple of super secret things that you can come and pick up there. So that's gonna be fun.
Is it still technically super secret that you've announced it on air?
Well, I told you I told you I was doing.
Told
it. I
you
didn't
there
tell
would be a
what it
secret,
was.
not what the
Yeah.
secret is.
Ah, good point, my friend.
Maybe it's not
Good
super
point.
secret. It's probably like a kind of secret.
It's like 9 people that don't
It's
know.
like,
now.
yeah.
All right. Okay. Now you mentioned brunch. This has historically been in the evening event. Does this mean it's all day now?
No, we are going to. There is going to be food served, but the event does start at 6:30. So.
A.M. PM.
PM. Yes.
Okay. All right.
Yes.
About to
In
No
the-
one's getting up at
in the
6 a.m.
evening.
anymore.
Yeah.
No,
Yeah.
man.
Not on a
You
Sunday.
You say
Not on a
brunch,
Sunday.
folks come in. Hey, you had a nice meal. Like, get the room out of here. Come back in 8
It's like-
hours.
no, it's like come eat, drink, and then drink more, and then drink more. Take a nap.
It's actually
And the beautiful
responsible
lounge.
of you
Yeah.
actually to offer food at this point.
Absolutely.
You know what I mean? With
Well-
the amount of drinking that.
Yeah,
I hope
absolutely.
they're singing at some
required.
point in between there.
But
I heard drink,
I said-
eat, drink, sleep. Like,
Well, start
I
at
can't
eat,
do the
a
song.
nap.
then drink.
yeah. And then eat some more, and then you can take a nap in the beautiful Once lounge upstairs. They are
Yeah.
very comfortable up there.
Sure, yeah, why not? It's not a place of business or anything.
Drink some more.
I imagine
I'm
cats
sure they
will be
won't
there.
mind just random people passed out.
It's a
phased
free
out.
event, so I'm encouraging people to purchase
Correct,
cocktails.
yeah.
Okay,
for
all
the
right,
house.
now it
So,
makes sense.
There we go. So drink.
All right, random folks will be in there. I love that episode of Buffy where she dresses like, how dry I am. Okay, so it's at Once in Somerville, correct?
It's at Once in Somerville, which is 156 Highland Ave.
Oh, look who's remembering
Somerville.
addresses now. Okay, 156 Highland Ave in Somerville,
Yep.
Massachusetts.
Yep, and it's at we're gonna be starting it at 6:30. We're starting with our first episode. We're gonna have some trivia. We may have some special super secret guests coming by, maybe singing some tunes,
Oh,
maybe
snap.
doing some.
Is it John Barrowman?
It's not.
Oh,
It's
yeah, he
not.
has no relation to Buffy, but if you go
Well-
6 degrees of separation, it goes Buffy, David Boreanaz, James Marsden, and then
It's
John
Marsters,
Barrowman.
you were right.
Marsters?
Yeah.
Okay, because one is Cyclops and one is Spike, and I keep getting them mixed
James
up.
Marsters is Spike, and he played Captain Jack's ex-boyfriend. on
Yes, he did.
Torchwood. Yep.
And Captain Jack is John Barrowman.
Yep. And that was a very sexy episode.
Captain
do say so
Jack
myself.
is something special.
Yeah.
I've like to think I've modeled myself after him, even though I've been doing that style thing for much longer than he's been a character. But he just does it so much better. I can't hate.
He's a smooth dude.
He's almost black.
He's almost black.
He's almost
like
black,
he's that
yeah.
close.
That should be the
That close.
tagline.
He's just
Yeah.
3 inches short.
He's like 3.
Just 3
3
inches.
inches.
Should have a poster of
3
himself.
inches
that
shy
says,
of
He's
black.
almost back. Happy. Yeah.
All right, now, you, this isn't your only Buffy event. You've been involved in the life for a while now.
It's true.
What's-
It's true.
Yeah. Okay.
So we used to be we did a burlesque show for a couple of years called Once More with Pasties, but this year we're going to be focusing all of our creative, amazing Buffy energy on this sing along.
Oh, totally.
So we're really stoked about it. Yeah, we're cosplay is encouraged. Please come and cosplay. We've had some amazing cosplayers show up to these. We had
I cosplay as a Black Buffy viewer all the time.
and you crush it every time.
Thank you,
You
thank you.
do it really, really well.
I take pride in my work.
You're very, I mean, Pat's an exceptional cosplayer, so.
Yes.
But we've had, somebody come in as
I've cosplayed as Black Guy number 3,
Yep.
Black Guy number 7,
Yep.
Black Guy in audience.
and when I've tried to do that, it's been really bad.
Yeah, we talked about that.
We had,
That's
I'm really glad you pulled me aside
Soul
for that
Man.
conversation because, like,
Soul Man, the whole thing.
Soul Man.
Yeah.
Yeah.
had to stop.
It was reverse white chicks.
Right.
Stop buying shoe
Oh
polish.
man.
Yeah.
Actually, speaking of Soul Man, I played Meth that YouTube clip, Vader Sessions.
Yeah, I never heard it.
Of them cutting James Earl Jones audio, different movie James Earl Jones audio over Star Wars.
Yes.
And when I asked you, do you know where some of these are from? A lot of the clips from when he's fighting, not Qui-Gon, when he's fighting Obi-Wan and talking about we need more black representation. That's all from Soul Man.
Yeah.
Yeah, Soul Man, to anybody who doesn't know, our listeners, Soul Man is this awful movie from 1986, I think, starring C. Thomas Howell
C.
as
Thomas
a white
Howell,
dude
As
who dresses, who puts on blackface.
Ponyboy Curtis himself.
Ponyboy
Yep.
Curtis himself
Yep.
puts on blackface to go to Harvard on a minority scholarship.
Right. It's just like the prime example of just horrible idea
Yes.
Yeah.
coming to fruition.
Yeah.
Yet somehow still starring Leslie Nielsen and James Earl Jones.
Well, the 80s
Yeah.
were a crazy time.
Yeah.
And C. Thomas Howell, who was actually probably a thing then.
back
too,
then
you know what I mean?
he was. Then he did Soul
And then
Man.
he did Soul Man, and you're like, why am I
Yeah.
not seeing C. Thomas Howell in anything anymore? It's like, oh, well.
Notice we don't mention Ray Dawn Chong because no one's surprised. That's
Yeah.
the greatest thing she ever did was Commando. What does that say about?
Ooh.
Yeah, Commando is an awesome
The
Arnold
fourth
Schwarzenegger.
best
I was like,
movie,
that took me for pause because I'm like, that's a great movie, though.
It's a great movie
she do
now
the-
for reasons of schlock.
Yes.
What's the movie she did
The one
as well
as
with
the caveman.
Yeah, the
with,
caveman,
yeah,
where she
with Ron
just-
Perlman.
Yeah.
What was that
yeah,
called? I know it. I want to say like 20,000 BC, but that.
Yeah, it's
I
like
don't-
something with fire or something like that. I think
Yeah.
might be in the title. But she just had sex with cavemen.
That
the
the
entire
whole movie. Yeah, it's
that
about.
movie.
It was
it's
just
about
like cave
human
rape.
evolution.
Yes.
The whole time.
Yeah.
It was
I
pretty-
totally know what movie you're talking
Every 7 minutes, a different cave. Okay, Tom, you got the name?
It's Quest for Fire.
Quest
Yes,
for Fire.
Quest for Fire.
I knew
Yes.
Fire was in the title. Yeah, she was just getting it the entire entire time.
Yeah, it's like this entire movie about human evolution where at like every few minutes they stop the action, some caveman grabs Ray Don Chong and just starts just going at it.
Yeah.
You know, a couple minutes later, back to business as usual, like nothing happened. You know,
It's like, we gotta make fire. We gotta rub these sticks together.
That's the movie that doesn't have any dialogue, right?
yeah, it's all like grunts and.
That's right. Yeah. Oh,
Well, it's about. This is the thing they made, ladies and gentlemen. This is.
It's like the late 80s, too. It was
Yeah.
like in 1989, 1990 or something, right? It was like late 80s, early 90s, right?
Well, Adam, your quest for a fire tattoo has the date on it, right?
Yeah.
You want to show us that?
Yeah, that's the lower back though. And I
Yeah.
don't show that anymore.
Oh, okay.
That's fair.
The quest for fire.
Your
tattoo.
chance.
For fire tattoo.
Oh, sweet
Man, that'd be
mercy.
heady. Yeah.
All right. So on that high note, Meth, you want to give us? You had a link you wanted to share too.
I
Is that what's going
did.
on?
I did. So I actually got a Bitly for this because
right.
I am prepared, but of course I'm not prepared enough to actually have it up.
You're almost prepared.
So it's bit.ly, you know, like a Bitly link, /OnceFeelTix, TIX. That is Bitly, OnceFeelTix. And that is the direct link to the tickets. They are free, but if you want to go, you need to get a ticket to reserve your space because it does and will sell out.
Oh, capacity issues.
It's a capacity issue thing. It's not a
man.
money issue thing.
Oh man, I better get on that.
Because we cannot charge money for it because Fox will come down on us.
Well, you're still loading people up with booze.
But we're loading them up with
brunch.
booze and brunch and Holy Crow goodies and, you know, it's going to be a great time.
It's the least you can do.
Yeah.
So show
It's
up.
only apropos.
Yeah, so show up ready for trivia, show up ready for meeting other Buffy fans, because I can definitely, if you're a Buffy fan, you're going to have a good time. You're going to meet other awesome Buffy fans and have a great time meeting new people. If you don't want to meet anybody, you can sit in the corner. I promise I promise I'll only kind of talk to you.
Usually when I get
I'm
drunk
like
at
that
free
guy.
events, I sit in the corner
Yeah,
by myself.
yeah.
Yeah,
you know,
You
totally.
probably see me there.
I don't want to socialize. I'm gonna rock here a little.
Show up.
Doing the Blair Witch in the corner.
Yeah, totally. Just stare up in the corner. If you need to have
Somebody comes
introvert
up
time,
and they
I will
just
respect
disappear.
that.
All right, so it's at once right here in Somerville, Massachusetts.
Somerville, Massachusetts.
Highland Ave, right?
On Highland Ave, 156 Highland Ave in Somerville, Massachusetts.
Ooh, come on down and meet Meth. You can challenge Meth to some trivia.
You can. Yeah, I would probably win.
Yeah.
I actually will absolutely win.
Probably
So
win.
the
Oh,
ladies of
man.
Kamikaze did a Buffy trivia night. I think it was in May, 6 months ago.
All right.
And they were kind enough to let me kind of show up and do like a, not like a true sponsorship in terms of like I knew what the questions were, but they let me show up and be like, hey, Holy Crow does Buffy stuff. You can. So I showed up and I joined a team, and I only got 2 questions wrong out of 103.
Wow.
God, wow.
How long was trivia?
Yeah,
Like 6 hours?
just a marathon.
It was like 2.5 hours of
That's
trivia.
a long
Yeah,
trivia.
it was
I
a
went. I
lot.
went to a Twin Peaks trivia in Cambridge,
awesome.
and that was like really tough.
Yeah.
Like, and I know Twin Peaks pretty well, but
Yeah.
it was like really, really tough.
Because they tried to get you, because the purpose of it was to make sense of Twin Peaks, and nobody could do it.
Right, it's
Yeah,
just like,
yeah.
okay, watch Mulholland Drive and like tell us what it's about. It's like, oh,
you're like,
well, I'll be outside smoking a cigarette.
I will say though, first time I saw Mulholland Drive, I was like, what was that? I was 17. I don't
Yeah, I was
remember
in
a damn
high
thing.
school, yeah.
But I
Yeah,
saw
so-
it again, and I completely forgot about the acting rehearsal scene in
Right.
the office.
Yeah, it's great. Yeah.
And I went back and YouTubed that and watched it over and over again.
It's one of the greatest scenes
It is,
ever,
dude.
man. Like just for like what it's trying to get across and
Yes.
everything like that about like acting in general
Yeah.
and the whole facade. It kind of sums up the movie almost in that scene.
It's
Yeah,
spectacular
wild.
because it's like it starts off goofy. And it's like, oh, she's gonna give that bad performance, and then blows
That she
you
gave
away
right
with
before
performance.
when she was rehearsing
Yep.
for the thing. Yeah,
Yeah.
it's a wild movie. Anybody who hasn't seen Mulholland Drive, go out and see it.
It's a good picture,
crazy.
surprisingly, because it's David Lynch, which is I don't know what clinically insane.
Yeah, it's just
It's a pretty insane
Deranged.
film.
just art.
Art.
Weird
It's
art.
art.
Like, I don't know, it's art somehow.
Oh,
Yeah. I don't know what's going on.
That's the catch-all for crazy.
Yeah, just art.
Well, it was like I said, I saw it in high school, and I was like, okay, let me try to make sense of this. And then there's like 6 months of my life gone. You know what I mean? Still no conclusions. You know what I mean? So it's
All
one
that
of those
misspent
things.
energy, my friend.
Yeah, exactly.
All right, could have invested in
Could have been,
shrimp.
yeah, I could have been trying to,
That's true.
Okay, so now we're gonna just let it dangle, sure.
Exactly.
All right, so right now I'm gonna kick it over to my man Black Adam Willis. You,
yes.
sir, got to check out a story, an inspiring tale, man. I didn't see it myself, but I checked out the reviews and I checked out the trailer and some clips online.
Yeah.
This was rough.
This is a heavy movie, man. This
The
is
Rider.
It's probably one of the better movies It's definitely one of the better movies I've seen this year.
Really?
Like straight up, it's
so
good and it's so well done, and it's by this woman Chloe Zhao, and she's from Beijing. She's been living in America for a long time, but
Wait, I don't recall seeing any.
She's done one film before this. I think this is her second feature, but it's about a rodeo rider in the Dakota area of the Sioux region, like the Indian plantation. So it's really this narrow scope of this certain kind of people, and it's this culture of rodeo riders and this like kind of this tough American landscape. And this guy who it follows is Brady Jandreau. He plays Brady Blackburn in the movie, and it's actually
okay. Now that's the thing. It was the real guy, right?
Yeah, it's a story about actually this real guy. It's like loosely based on his story. So there's film. Basically, the movie is about this rodeo rider who gets in this serious accident, and he has this massive head injury, and that leaves him with seizures in one of his hands, and he's not allowed to rodeo or ride horses anymore, which basically is like a death sentence for people in this region, saying like, okay, you don't have a way of life anymore.
Yeah, you can't support your family.
Or not just that, it's just like, this is what you do. Yeah, this is how you support your family, but this is what you do. This is your life. This is your livelihood. This is not just your hobby, but this is everything that your life is built around.
Damn.
So all of a sudden, you can't do that anymore.
That's like them telling me and you they can't tell dick jokes on the radio.
Right. Like, I probably would, just lock myself in a bedroom.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, so
like a Blair Witch myself.
So when I said this movie is kind of like The Wrestler, it's like that. So okay, what do you in the movie The Wrestler? It's like okay, he can't do that anymore. It's like what is his life? It's like the search of meaning beyond that. And he's a young guy in this movie. And some of the footage that you see of him getting the head injury is actually real life footage of the real life injury that Brady Jandreau suffered. And he gets bucked from this Bronco, literally lands on his head, and the horse steps on him.
Oh God!
I saw a clip that. I thought that was special effects.
No, man, that's the actual footage. That's what you're watching, and you see this giant gash across the side of his head. And of course, like this whole life, all these people are told, you got to cowboy up. This is the way you go. You know what I mean? You got to work through it. And like he's working through a brain injury, and he really, he's like a local hero because he's so good at what he does. But he's so young at the point. It's like, okay, well, now if you can't do that, what do you do? So he gets a job at like a local grocery store and everything like that. And he gets people coming in saying like, oh man, you're my hero. When are you going to get back on the horse? And it's just always kind of biting at him, trying to get back to where he was.
He's getting like positive comments and feedback
like
because
everyone that's like knows him knows that he's this great rodeo rider. So it's just like he wants to work back towards getting that. But
the clip that I saw, the clips that I saw, I'm not sure who it was. They didn't name him in the clips, but this one guy's like, "You can't do it with a broken back." It's like you'll never ride again.
Yeah,
it's like you're not gonna do it. You can't do it. I'm like, who is this guy?
Well, there's
this one. It's like this one ass.
Well, that's the story.
Constantly cutting him down.
Well, the story starts with him being injured, but then that's his father.
That's
actually.
his dad.
Yeah, so his father has taught him. Well, his mother passed away like before that, and so he's just kind of with his father and his sister. They live in this trailer, and his sister's got this brain kind of, not a brain injury, but she's very slow, and like he needs to take care of her. And his father is kind of like an alcoholic and a gambler, and not really around so much. So he really needs to support his family as well. And his father taught him everything he knows about horses, and he's a really good horse trainer too. So he's like, okay, if I can't ride, I'm going to break horses. I'm going to work with these people. I'm going to ride all these horses and, train him for everybody else. And even that, like he gets these seizures where his hand clenches up and he can't like really let go. And it's a dangerous occupation. So he could literally die. And that's actually what happened to the actual actor. And the story kind of brewed out of the director talking to him. She's like, okay, you're going to ride these horses even though it could kill you. He's like, well, if I don't ride and do anything else, I'm dead anyway. I'm just kind of there's nothing for me to do.
We didn't find these feel-good movies, Adam. This is crushing.
But the thing with this movie, it doesn't wallow in this sorrow of like this guy can't do it anymore. It's just this very honest approach to like it doesn't sit there and it doesn't. It's not this pity movie, you know what I mean, where it just sits there and it like pities his character. It's like he's kind of trying to move on and figure it out, where it's just like it takes this very, very clear-eyed, honest, unsympathetic kind of a view of these people and this way of life, and that's just how it goes. It's just that's life for them. It's
Right.
it's a side effect of the lifestyle they live. And he visits with a friend of his, this guy Lane, and Lane's actually played by the actual real life person as well, who was a really great bull rider, who now is a paraplegic, can't walk and can't speak.
He's got the same. He's got one of those stories too.
Yeah, like, but more severe. Like, he literally can't stand up, and he's like in the hospital. So he visits him often, and the scenes with those two together, where he's trying to help his friend out, who like can't speak and can't sit up straight, and can't and he kind of does this thing with his hands. That's how he speaks, where it's kind of like sign language, but it's like Morse code sign language. It's so beautiful and tragic and touching, and this whole movie's built like that, where it's just.
See, I'm glad you see these, man. I tear up easy.
Yeah.
I did too. You know what I mean? I really did. And there's a scene at the end where it's, because it's really these three people, where it's this guy Brady, who's all of a sudden faced with this lifestyle that he can't have anymore, and then his father, who is kind of like trying to do his best, but he doesn't really know how to be, that role model. And then the sister, who needs taken care of all the time. And then there's a scene towards the end where he decides that he is going to try to get in the rodeo again, and there's a standoff between the father and the son. That's one of the most touching things I've ever watched. I mean,
the ultra supportive dad.
Well, it's the supportive dad, but
you can't do it with a broken back now.
Yeah, but it leaves it in such a way where it's like he's leaving it to himself to figure out, at the same time being there in this most uncomfortable way. It's a fascinating movie.
Sounds
I can't.
Dude.
Yeah, I can't give it a high enough review. It's really, really, really important movie, and it's just so natural. It's this kind of this landscape that's kind of disappeared from.
Yeah, no one really thinks about the rodeo life these days. This is 2018.
Well, it's like, who's making a movie about like American Indians kind of like way of life in a small portion of the Midwest? Like it's real, and from an Asian director who comes from Beijing.
Yeah,
it doesn't
that's
really.
the thing that really threw me right there.
And like I said, I guess the story came out. Like I said, she was in contact with this writer, and when she heard his story, it's like, why are you still writing? He's like, well, like, I don't have a life if I don't. And she's like, that's a movie.
Yeah.
Okay, wow.
That sounds amazing.
So she plucked it from that, and kind of, and the scenes with him, and he's actually like trying to break these horses and like get on these animals and everything like that, and seeing this natural talent that's born out of time, patience, and this natural intuition that he has with these animals is like captured on film so beautifully, because it's a natural thing. You feel like it's almost a documentary, but it's really a fiction film that's kind of blends the real life facts of this guy's life with some fiction. And it's an amazing movie, man. I'm telling you, it's playing at Coolidge right now. I can't suggest it enough. And
Nice.
yeah,
Awesome.
I would go and check it out.
Yeah.
Go check out your local independent theater. What's it called again?
The Rider.
The Rider.
Awesome. Sounds really good.
It's really, really, really good.
Yeah, those movies where they have like the real people who like live this. I always wonder about like, can they act?
Yeah.
How are they really
he's
bring
got
this across?
I mean, it's all non-actors. And so it's like, you would think that'd be kind of clunky at times, but like, he has this natural charisma that's like born of this like actual experience through going through this crazy trauma and going through this lifestyle. And this lifestyle is no joke, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
These people are always told, like, no matter what they go through, it's like cowboy up. This is what you got to do. Like, this is what's going on. Like, this suffered a brain injury, and like, you're told you can't go about your life anymore. Like, how do you go on? What's the next step for you? And this is like a movie about trying to figure it out. It's really great.
Yeah, I remember seeing like random documentaries growing up. I used to watch like a lot of old TV, Disney Channel, Discovery Channel, A&E, all this stuff, just because this is stuff that was on Sundays when you're a latchkey kid.
Yep.
And a lot of them were just like horrors of this obscure sport. Rodeo clowns were like the worst, but also like rodeo riders, the things that these cats go through. Like, one ride will end their career in a matter of seconds.
Yeah.
Especially if they ride like bulls or something. People will a bull will break your face.
There was that Luke Perry movie too.
8 seconds.
Which Luke Perry?
8 seconds.
That was I don't remember this.
It was the Luke Perry vehicle.
Well, he actually gets scored by a bull at the end.
Oh,
Yep.
jeez.
Story too.
That's okay.
But yeah, it's not just like the danger of the rodeos too, which is obviously there, but it's the kind of the poverty they live in and like the cowboy lifestyle. It's more like the lifestyle, not just like, okay, rodeos are something we do and it's dangerous, but it's just like every day is riding horses, being part of the land. Like it's this natural thing that harps back to the earliest Americas. I'm talking about like the Sioux Indians, you know what I mean? It's just like part of what they do. It's part of who they are. So
Sounds
to be
wild,
like
man.
kind of this like conviction of like, okay, you can't do that anymore. It's just like you have no real interests other than that.
Right.
And what do you want to do? Work at a grocery store the rest of your life? Like, what do you, it's like it's about kind of accepting that and then trying to move on, or you know.
Well, see, what kills me is I grew
that
up with
potential
cats like,
death.
I grew up with cats like Colt Kirby, you know, Matt Dillon, the Cartwrights.
Okay.
You know, so the whole thing is you get this idealized view of like cowboy life.
Right.
Every Clint Eastwood movie. You know, I'm like, dude. And now, to be fair, those also have the soundtrack with them.
Yeah.
So you hear, "Wa-da-da-da," I'm like, oh, it's gonna go down.
Yeah.
My favorite GIF right now. Maybe a video. The GIF of the gunfight at the end of The Good, the Bad, and the Ugly.
Right.
With Tuco, with Blondie, with Angel Eyes. They're all like,
oh, looking at each other.
yeah. And then there's this cat.
in the cemetery. Yeah.
Yep. And then there's this cat that has this weird look on his face, just giving the eyes. The little fangs.
I think I've seen that one.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, it's too much. All right. So on that note, dude, we're also going to keep it still within the kind of riding realm because I want to talk about Rough Riders.
Okay. Yeah.
Rough Riders is a story from Aftershock Comics about none other than
The Rough Riders.
The Rough Riders,
Yep.
Teddy Roosevelt's notorious group of enforcers. And not just limited to the West, but this takes more of an idealized view. Now, I thought this was a really cool story idea. If anyone's read The League of Ordinary
That's
Gentlemen,
exactly what I thought of. You know, it's
right,
like
you got
the
that?
idea that all these historical characters know each other and they call upon each other when they're in need,
they came
you know?
together, they fought together. That happened a couple of times in actual history.
Right.
Even though we've like idealized it, what sucks is Daniel Boone and Davy Crockett actually got together and teamed up, and they were friends.
Yep.
Yeah. But this one is like Harry Houdini.
Yeah, that's the thing that got me. The
It's some wild characters.
Harry
yeah.
Houdini and what's his face, Arthur Conan Doyle were buddies too.
I did not know that.
Yeah, they were totally buddies. There was actually a TV show about it too
Was there?
recently.
You have a theme song? Da, 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 da.
They actually, they were buddies, and then they stopped being friends because Arthur Conan Doyle super believed in spiritualism and being able to like communicate with the dead. And one of Harry Houdini's personal quests was to show that all of these people, like mediums and spiritualists and stuff, were actually like perpetuating massive hoaxes on people.
Yeah, he'd do that stuff all the time.
Yeah.
He was famous for it.
Yeah, so like they were like buddies, and that was like the thing that drove them apart.
Interesting.
So anyway,
Like your love of religion will be the end of us.
that's true.
Adam, I'm talking to you.
Probably, yeah.
he's like, yeah, it'll happen. That's gonna happen.
It's fair.
This is the story of the Rough Riders, made up of, as we mentioned, former President Teddy Roosevelt. Say former. He's been dead a long time. I
Yeah.
hope it's
Dead
I hope
quite
it's
a while.
former.
He was a former. Yes, he was.
You know, he would be president again, though. He has the fortitude to come back
I
from
don't
the
want
dead.
that fool as president.
He would
man.
do it.
Teddy Roosevelt was legend and history has Teddy Roosevelt as this great benevolent figure. Look up the story of the Panama Canal.
Oh no, he's like a total imperialist. Like
Yes, he
F-wad.
is.
I'm totally with you 100%
He
on
was
that.
he was Trump with like bigger cojones, man.
and a
He was
really good
insane.
mustache.
And a he was
He had a swell
if Ron
mustache.
Swanson was
Yes.
a Jekyll and Hyde of Donald Trump.
Yes.
That was Teddy Roosevelt.
Absolutely, 100%.
Yeah, and
Yep.
he did horrible stuff.
He did
did
terrible
good stuff,
stuff.
but horrible stuff.
He really did.
But we're not focusing on that.
Nope.
One of the things he did was the Rough Riders were his very notorious group of enforcers who handled business back in his day. And this book idealizes the Rough Riders as a very particular group of heroes that come together when the world needs them.
Right.
You know, and this particular group is made up of, as we mentioned, Harry Houdini, also Jack Johnson, one of the most famous boxers in history, the very first black heavyweight champion, and just a notorious figure in himself. I love Jack Johnson because he wasn't just, he was the Jackie Robinson of boxing, the first big champion. No, he was known as being just the poon hound. and boozer and gambler and just a
It's
loud
a nasty
individual.
piece of work, yeah.
Yeah, seriously, it's just like this.
You got to think what kind of man it takes to kind of get to that position. Yeah, it's
like
not
he's a total
normal
badass.
Yeah, he had to be good.
Citizen.
Yeah.
He was the proto Floyd Mayweather.
Yep.
Right. Yeah, just this loud, obnoxious, just I don't even know, ratchet.
Yeah.
Just this original ratchet individual, and I love
the
that
original
because,
ratchet individual.
Yeah, no, back then I'd have been like, look at this, and they're just making us all look bad. But now in history, it's just like, yo, this dude, take that. it's like
better you than me.
You got Martin Luther King, you got Malcolm X, and you got
Jack just punching people bare knuckle in the bar.
Yep. Also, Annie Oakley.
Yay.
Historical figure. I still don't know if it's been confirmed Annie Oakley was a real person.
She
or
was
the conglomeration of several legends.
She
into
was
one.
totally a real person.
She was.
She was absolutely real. I know this because I did a book report on her in 3rd grade, and I performed as Annie Oakley.
I just remember that line in Kill Bill Volume 2. I'm better than Anne Oakley, and I got you right in my sights. So let's talk. Yeah.
Liking it.
Anyways.
Also, Thomas Edison as the science guy.
They should have had Tesla.
I was thinking
should have had a giant electrified elephant.
Yeah. Oh, Topsy.
Yeah.
Well, why not go with Marconi? They could have all had radios.
Marconi would have been good.
Marconi would have been good with his
Yeah.
weird ass mustache. That was an interesting mustache. And that's why they didn't have him. You can't compete with Teddy's mustache.
You can't have competing mustaches. Same with with Tesla though too.
Tesla. Well, the thing is, they wanted to keep it American, and Tesla's
right.
Yeah,
Tesla
was not.
Was Serbian.
Plus, I think he's more of a loner.
True.
And he fell in love with a pigeon.
Well, one thing I do like about this story, getting back to the story itself as fiction, I like that they had different character archetypes. Like, you have all these heroes that you know from history, and their legends are, well, they were a great figure in something and did this for America and stuff. But no, it's like, okay, perfect example. Edison in this is pretty much Dr. Smith from Lost in Space. He's self-serving. He's short with everybody.
That makes a lot of sense.
Yeah, and he's completely on his own side all the time. Yep. So if it'll behoove him to betray you, the fate of the world be damned. He's turning on you like post haste, to make a quick buck. And then hey, maybe it's maybe to live another day and make some more money. He'll go back this way, so he'll go back. And it's just like he's hateful, and I really like that because it didn't treat like historical figures with kid gloves. It kind of did with Jack Johnson, but I think that's because in this particular run, we're talking, of course, about not just Rough Riders, but Rough Riders Ride or Die. I don't think I said the full name at the start, so my bad. But from Aftershock Comics, which was an interesting take on the I don't know, what do you call them, like a Seven Samurai type story.
Yeah.
Each one has their own specialty, and they come together to use their skills. And the particular story in this case is something, not someone, something is targeting innocent figures that are somehow related to President Roosevelt himself.
Right.
And it actually turns out that it's demons, it's supernatural forces. It's not just people.
Yeah. Okay,
this goes beyond like the realm.
Sounds awesome now.
Yeah, the whole thing held so much promise. I was jazzed when I read it. Adam, you got to check this out?
I did, yeah.
Okay, so what are your thoughts? I've been talking
I just like the
nonstop.
collection of characters. You know what I mean? It's just it seems so random who they grabbed from history too, which is, I think they did the right job with this.
It seemed a little out there, yeah.
But I always like the guys on a mission, I always like the rounding up, whether it's a movie or a comic, whatever, like the rounding up of characters, and it kind of does their own story thing like that. So I like that, and so I was attracted to this comic just for that reason. But yeah, I definitely need the supernatural element to it as well to kind of keep it like grounded in that comic kind of thing like that. You can't just like pick like an asshole from history, you know what I mean?
I really thought you were going to say you need that supernatural element to keep it grounded.
But like in the comic lore, you know what I mean? Like you know what I'm saying? But
no,
like
I'm right there with you.
You can't pick this. Okay, like let's go beat up Hitler or something. You know what I mean? It just wouldn't work that way.
No. Wouldn't mind seeing it.
Wouldn't mind seeing it. Sure.
Yeah, sell it as an addendum. Yeah. Just like don't even like have them hunting him and finding him like cleverly. Just
like a side project. Let's just go beat this guy up.
16-page beat down. Just a gang jumping. Just them there. They knock him down. They pick him up, beat him down, put him against the wall. Just like keep kicking him.
I'd read that.
Yeah. Just so many.
Who wouldn't read that?
Just ball kicks.
No, that's great. Has everything. Ball kicks.
Like I get like Harry Houdini right as being like this small, like kind of a fragile guy too.
Houdini was huge.
He
was small in real life, though.
Yeah, but he was like solid. Though.
Yeah, he got punched in the stomach.
And that's how he died, right?
Yep.
Yes. Yes, which is kind of an ironic story of he was the indestructible man. It's like, no, he wasn't. And
until you tell him when, yeah.
Exactly. And the thing is, everyone thinks, well, he got, was it pneumonia that eventually killed him over time with the sickness? No, he got punched and then didn't seek immediate medical attention because that wasn't his thing. And 3 days later died of internal bleeding.
Yep.
And the whole thing was he lived this life that just proved, yes, he was a formidable individual, but he was not invincible.
Right.
But he left an awesome legacy. I read the Houdini biography when I was in the 5th grade, and it started a love affair with magic that earned me no friends for many years. I know, but I was trying.
I would have been your friend.
Thank you.
I super would have.
You would have been my friend. Adam would give me wedgies.
Probably.
I'm not that big. I wasn't that big in high school, so I wasn't giving.
Neither was I. I was a skinny kid, man. I was tall, but I was skinny. I'm talking like elementary, middle school.
Yeah, one of my favorite books is kind of around the magic realm too, and it focuses on Houdini. The Adventures of Cavalier and Clay by Michael Chabon.
That's one of my favorite books.
It's one of the best books ever.
It's one of the best books ever. Absolutely.
It won a Pulitzer, actually. It's that good.
It's
but
phenomenal.
A lot of it takes from one of the characters. Kind of escapes his background through magic and escapism and everything like that, and they start a comic book, and it's The Escapist, and it's based on kind of on Houdini, and it's actually punching Hitler in the face is one of the stills in the first comic. But fantastic book anyway, and this
totally
I can get down with that.
I'll let you borrow it. It's one of my favorite books too.
Yeah, it's
cool.
It's probably one of my favorite books of all time.
All right,
It's
but
amazing.
we've gotten so far off the point of Rough Riders Ride or Die because we mentioned all this cool stuff.
No
because there's a
DMX
lot
didn't
of,
show up.
No
in this
DMX.
movie.
No, he did not. He did not.
This comic. Yeah.
What? Come on.
He's still in jail, I think.
DMX?
Yeah.
He's
Is he?
back in jail. That's what sucks.
He's back in jail.
Yeah, this dude was out. It was a lot of,
Crack.
weird stories, and we were happy for him, and then it's a sad story. But okay, so the story of Ride or Die we mentioned takes place with them hunting down who's taking out the relatives of Teddy Roosevelt. Now, what bugged the crap out of me is it's a 4-issue run, 4-issue mini, and we get 3 issues of just this really interesting mystery developing, and the characters it seems like they're being put into place for something big to happen. I'm like, cool, let's see what goes down. And then I feel like everybody was wasted. Everybody was wasted in that last issue where they tried to cram everything.
It's like you can't cram that much into one issue. When you take 3 to build it up, you're not going to pay it off with 1. You know what I mean? Probably could have been.
No, I concur.
Expand it out, Let's do 5. Let's do 5 issues.
What sucks is I feel like they started writing the story and then we're given the news. Well, we're not continuing the run. We're canceling
Sounds
the run.
like that, right? Yeah. Because it seems like these guys had a well thought out story, and I don't. It seemed just kind of rushed.
Yep. Also, I thought they wasted several characters, dude. Jack Johnson did almost nothing in this.
Right.
And the whole thing is, you'd think, okay, well, maybe they played him for laughs because a couple times it seems like they're playing him for comedy, and they don't. And then it seems like, okay, well, they're putting him in position to have like these big badass scenes, and they don't. And then the quote unquote saviors of the day just kind of like pop in, having not been seen at any other point in the book. It's just like random. Oh yeah, you remember them from last time, right? They're here again. Like what?
Yeah.
And
bummer.
I thought it was completely half-assed. It feels like they lost steam, or they lost the will to finish the story, or maybe they were trying to tell a bigger story than they were actually budgeted for. I have no idea why, but the last one left me flat, dude. So pissed me off.
I agree. I think they can't, they built something up really well, and then only just to kind of hurry through it and let you down a little bit.
Yeah, it got me, man.
There had to be something like that. You know what I mean? Like, okay, we're not doing another run.
Yeah.
Of this. We're not doing a whole nother issue. You got to kind of wrap it up now. It's like, oh, okay, how do we cram that much,
capitalism,
story and everything
pure
into
and
one?
simple. I would like to have seen them do a little more with Edison, because the stories of Edison, if anyone knows the true story of Edison,
kind of a dick.
Edison, he was a thug, man.
He was a thug.
Edison was like, if you can imagine, the best case scenario of Martin Prince becoming like a gang leader or something, where it's like, oh, what you got there, an invention that'll help mankind? Yeah, Rocky, get him. You didn't sign for a patent in my territory. You're on my turf. There'll be no grants given here.
You remember the show Deadwood?
Yes.
With Hearst at the end, and it's kind of like it exposes like Hearst in that, like, it kind of gives a realistic kind of telling of him. Like, no, he was a goon. He was he killed people and like forced people out of their gold and everything like that, and kind of took over everything. A lot of the things you remember in history
were not good people, man.
Right.
Nope.
They also did like a 1-episode version of it's a Doc Holliday. Well, no, it wasn't Doc Holliday.
Oh,
it was, Wyatt Earp.
Kurt Russell, yeah.
Yeah. Kurt Russell showed up, yeah. But Wyatt Earp was in an episode of that with his brother, and it was like, this is what Wyatt Earp was probably really like.
3.
Okay.
No, I actually didn't see that, man. It's been so long, dude.
Oh, it's one of the best shows ever.
I gotta go back.
Yeah,
gotta go back. Yeah. What was that movie? What was that show with Common about the trains? There was one on AMC where it's like this 1800 show. And Common was just.
I know what you're talking about. I don't watch it, but I know what you're talking about. Yeah.
You got it? I'll look it up. Yeah, Tom is on the job, man.
Yeah.
Wait, handle your
Common's
business,
been in some surprisingly, just like
Common's
diverse stuff. You know what I mean?
Absolutely.
Like
that John Wick 2 performance was like, this dude can actually act.
Right, but I remember he was in another Keanu Reeves movie. It was Street Kings, and he was like that dude in the.
I thought you were talking about a good movie.
No, but that movie wasn't bad. But he was that guy in the room when they show up. He's like, oh man, you stepped in the wrong room. They have that giant gunfight. I was like, man, come on.
What was that? What's your name? My name's Quicksman. Don't look that quick to me.
Shoot.
With Hector.
Chris. What's his name in the neck? Iron Man. Not Iron Man.
Chris Hemsworth?
No, Chris Evans.
Chris Evans?
Yeah,
Captain America.
Yeah, shoot Captain America in the neck of the movie.
I don't remember that part.
He bleeds out right in the
It's been a while, but it's a bad movie. Tom, what do you got?
The show is Hell on Wheels.
Hell on Wheels, yeah. Hell on Wheels.
I didn't even know about that one.
It's a gritty show. But,
but
it's one of those ones where AMC tried to be real gritty. AMC trying to be HBO. It's one of those shows. Yeah. But
it takes place in the 1800s?
Yeah.
I can probably give it like a shot.
Deadwood's getting a movie.
For it, sure.
By the way. Deadwood's getting a movie, by the way. Yeah,
I heard
do the whole thing.
Giving Deadwood the full Dead Like Me.
Yeah.
I'm with it.
Dead Like Me.
I'm with it, sure.
Deadwood Like Me. Yeah.
All right, so we can't recommend Rough Riders. Ride or Die, right. Unfortunately. Adam?
I mean, I don't want to say I can't, because I did enjoy it, but it didn't it didn't have the payoff or the conclusion I wanted.
All right,
so
let's say this then, because Rough Riders itself has had a couple of previous miniseries that, as I understand, were better received, so they probably had the substance that we were looking for that this one seemed lacking.
Right,
in.
that could be true.
Seeing as how this one kind of ended with finality, this might be like the swan song, whereas those are like the continuing tales that we were hoping for.
Perhaps, yeah.
All right, so check out Rough Riders, the earlier miniseries that came out in 2016, 2017, also from Aftershock Comics. But Rise for Ride or Die, I would say give it a pass.
Yeah. But I'm just such a fan of the rounding up the usual suspects type of movie.
I dig them too, man.
Same.
That's why I was like hoping Suicide Squad would kind of be better at that, and they did that whole first thing. I'm like, this is the worst movie I've ever seen in my life.
You know what's garbage?
It's still literally the worst thing I've ever seen.
It was. They did do it well, though. But
then that was like that. Okay, that's 15 minutes. That's 15 minutes of the movie, and then the rest is just shiza.
Well, no, that live action was total complete BS. But they did a good Suicide Squad movie. It was animated. It was called Assault on Arkham.
Right,
and it is one of the most badass things you'll ever see, starring the Suicide Squad. Same crew that was in the movie. They, and then they did live action. All they had to do was literally do that exact same story, beat for beat. Like, we've seen this thing. It was well received. It was dope. You do the live action, you will nail it. This will be the proper Oscar-worthy DC movie.
Right.
They didn't do that. They got Will Smith in there making random jokes.
It's aggressively bad.
Oh, it is. Yes, it is. You are absolutely correct.
It's like being bad to a point where it's just like you're mad at it. Like, I've watched so many bad movies in my time, and like it sometimes are just bad. That's just
it's disrespectfully bad.
But this is like rubbing your nose in it bad. Like, okay, like, wow, this is how much money we have, and this is how much we're just going to throw down the toilet.
For spite.
Yeah.
It could have been great.
Right, because it just confirms everything that you hate about movies like that, where it's like no story, you know what I mean? Having stars trying to carry something that doesn't really exist, like a narrative, or anything like that.
Bucks the crap out of me, dude.
It does.
Yeah.
It does.
All right, so we're going to go into our final review of the night because I got to check out an independent film starring Lakeith Stanfield, who is doing a lot of great stuff.
He's doing a lot of great stuff. I think I first saw him in the movie, it's a movie about social workers. But he plays an abused kid, basically.
Oh, really?
And he has this this scene, and this, like, I'm hooked on Lakeith Stanfield after this party. He has the people that he's in this group home with shave his head, and then he kind of can't look at himself in the mirror, and he's like, "Is it bumpy?" Yeah, he keeps asking if his head's bumpy. Oh, Short Term 12 is the name of the movie. Sorry.
Short Term 12.
Yeah, and he keeps asking if his head's bumpy because that's where his mom used to hit him with a belt.
Oh,
he used
shit.
to beat him like that,
Damn.
and so he can't, and then he kind of has this breakdown where he's leaving the home, and then this is his kind of final send-off where he's like, am I still scarred at where my mom hit me? And it's just such a powerful movie. But Lakeith Stanfield, man, I'm glad to see him doing good work.
Yeah,
I think everyone knows him from Get Out.
Everyone knows him from
As,
Get Out.
he's the
also
meme now
on-
too, you know what I mean? But like, I'm telling you, check out Short Term 12. He's fantastic. It's fantastic.
Yep, also doing big things on Atlanta. He's an upcoming producer in his own right, man. I mean, the cat's very impressive. So he's doing great things. And then Tessa Thompson, who's doing Janelle Monáe, who's also a great thing.
Agreed. All of that sentence.
And Tessa Thompson, who I think the most famous thing she's been in a lot of like great work, but possibly Dear White People is the biggest thing folks recognize her from, because she was the face of Dear White People.
Right.
And this movie had all the promise in the world, dude. I will say right now, it didn't do as many good things for me as it seems to have done for other people. But a lot of the like positive reviews I've heard are people that just walked out of the theater. So I think they may have still been under that, just saw the movie,
Well, I think
man,
people
that
are
still, and hadn't thought about it for a little
People
bit.
sometimes suffer from hype too, where it's just
Totally,
like,
I
this
think,
is a
yeah.
great movie, and then you watch it and you're like, I saw a great movie. You know what I
Right.
mean? It's like, well,
I
you take
thought the
time
same
to think about it and have
Suicide
your
Squad
own.
when I walked out, because Will Smith and Margot Robbie were there in the theater, and I couldn't be like, you suck.
Yeah, but that's happened to me on occasion too, where it's just like, how many times have you been told like, you got to watch this, this is fantastic. Watch it. You're like, yeah, what I saw was great, and then you're like, well, maybe not for me.
that
You know
turns
what I
you
mean?
right
Maybe
off
for you
to
it is.
something.
But you, yeah.
Well, you know what sucks is that's actually that nearly ruins some. When that happens with good things, that nearly ruins them because it leaves a bad taste in your mouth.
Yeah.
I love It's Always Sunny in Philadelphia.
Right.
But when the show first started and folks were telling me, yo, P, you got to check out this show. You got to watch this. It's the kind of show you would like. And I'm like, what the hell is that supposed to mean?
Yep.
And I was just against it for so long because it was just like, what? Ew,
Well, I
no.
don't take
Don't
much
force
advice
this
from
crap
people
on.
anyway, too.
Yeah.
It's my same beef with people. Like, okay, I'm like, if I recommend a movie to somebody and they're like, oh, I heard it was bad. I'm like, well, who'd you hear it from? Like a friend. I'm like, oh, your friend is the end all authority on what's good and what's bad. I'm like, did you read about it from someone who's, you know what I mean? It's just like, oh, well, my friend said it was. It's like, do you listen to your friend on everything? Because they are certainly not an expert or certainly not the authority on your taste.
I hear
think it's so ridiculous.
I agree, and not to belittle your point, but to anyone who's like not just listening but also watching the video, the look of disdain on your face as you recount
It's my biggest pet peeve hearing that from people like, oh, I heard it was bad. Like, who'd you hear it from? Oh, a couple friends or a couple people. Like, I heard it from people. Like, who the hell are these people? Do you not even know them? One, it's just like, two, if you know them, I'm like, are they the ones that dictate your taste? It's such a ridiculous thing to say, like, well, I heard it was this. It's like, okay, if you read some reviews and everything like that and you had an opinion about it yourself, like, maybe I'm going to go see it, maybe I'm not, that could persuade you. But if you heard it from a friend, I'm like, your friend shouldn't make your decision for you on anything, let alone your taste.
That's a very good point. Now let's tell people what we thought about this movie.
My bad.
What did you think about it, my friend?
Well, actually, I thought it was a very interesting movie that ended about 20 minutes in when they started a different, very interesting movie, which then ended after another 20 minutes, and they started a very interesting movie. And the thing is, my whole problem with this is it's very disjointed. It's the story of one young man who is basically, he's unemployed. He's got no prospects. He's living for free in his uncle's place because, and not just like he has a deal, just he hadn't paid his uncle rent. But his uncle hadn't kicked him out because they're family. But he's like, you pay me, goddammit. I got my own bills to pay.
Right.
And he's struggling. He takes a job working in a call center. And through that, different experiences happen to him that take him on this wild ride. And the thing is, it's not like he's failing at work. He actually excels at work by finding a weird hook. And the movie gives you its first strange twist where it's like, oh, I see what this is going to be. It's going to be like this real deep story about like accepting who you are and knowing how you fit in society and then being proud of that. Okay, cool, let's go. Danny Glover makes an appearance. I'm like, okay, it's going to be, it's going to be that kind of movie. Awesome. And they abandoned that about 15 minutes in. It's like, wow, okay, where, oh, no, they're going to come back to it, right? They never come back to it. So it's like, then it takes a hard shift. And then Stephen Yeun, and if anyone doesn't know the name, you may remember him as Glenn from The Walking Dead. He just kind of shows up out of nowhere too. And then now he's a part of the story and he's taking the characters in new directions. And I'm like, okay, cool, I get it. The first part was just kind of a misdirection. Now this is the kind of movie it's gonna be. I see what's going on and he's doing things and affecting characters and I'm like, oh, okay, so it's gonna be this type of film. It's gonna have these twists and these like consequences. And then another 20 minutes abandons that. And I'm like, what the hell's going on here? Oh, I guess they're going to come back to it and it's all going to come to a head in some really artistic motif, right? No, because then it goes from being a grounded story about one man who's struggling to make it in the capitalist society to being a story about revolution and racial tensions to being a story about upheaval and expression through art to being a story about like weird psychological supernatural stuff happening in a very what do you call it, like almost totalitarian society to a story about damn it, like when corporations try to take over stuff. You know, like it's like
all, Monopoly.
It's all over the place. It's like half Wall Street, half Twin Peaks, half Pootie Tang. You know, it's all over the place. And I'm like, okay.
I mean, those three films are awesome.
They're awesome by themselves. Yeah. Together, they are a weird hodgepodge that you really hope has a solid payoff because it's going like it's going to weird places. And the thing is, this one didn't have that payoff that I was really hoping because.
So is this movie trying to say too much and just didn't know how to take a straight line there?
I thought so, but because it never really wrapped up any of the storylines that it seemed to be laying out, I don't think it ever had anything to say to begin with. I think it just had a lot of like ideas that would be interesting that it just kind of threw in to an overall story that was never really that put together in the first place.
Well, Boots Riley wrote and directed it, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
See, that's kind of like a thing for me too. It's just like that pseudo-intellectual film where it's just like, this is what it's about and we're going all these directions. Like, you're not saying anything though.
Well, I'll also point out that at several points there's like horse penis and people being transformed with hooves and stuff.
It seems like the worst kind of art to me. It's just like, you know, it's like you kind of take you see this like this montage of like horse penis, face, dead body. You know what I mean? Like cops beating up a black person or something like that. It's like, oh, this is what I'm trying to say. It's like, okay.
Believe it or not, there is a scene there's a part of this movie that is almost exactly that, almost exactly that. And I'm not. I will be fair because I didn't hate this movie. I can't recommend it, but I didn't. But it's not because I hated it, just because it has no direction. It doesn't know itself. And the thing is, I think. They thought that they had a really artistic, really deep movie, and a lot of people walked out like really enjoying it, like, yo, that was crazy, that was wild and stuff, but they don't know why they liked it because it was crazy, it was wild, just because it was weird. And the thing is, I suspect they thought they had a really good movie, and they may have at some point, but they wrote it like this. Okay, so this happened, and it's gonna be amazing, and this is gonna really open people's minds. And then this, right? Because then, and then when they see this, dude, hold up. I got an idea. Let's do this instead. Cool. Did you delete the previous stuff? What previous stuff?
Well, it sounds like every time they passed it, somebody else came up with a different storyline.
Exactly.
And that's becomes your script.
I'd like to think this was too many cooks, but only one dude's credited.
Yep.
So I will say at the very least, I didn't hate this movie. It was all very interesting the whole way through. But Terry Crews is in the movie. We see him. He's poignant, and then we don't see him again when we absolutely should. We get a brief glimpse, like him in the background or something. I'm like, that doesn't wrap up the story.
Terry Crews is one of those guys that's kind of become one of those untapped potential guys, you know what I mean?
I
think he can really do a lot more than he kind of got pigeonholed early. Obviously, he's the guy with the muscles. And
he could have been the Expendables.
He's
one
like
man.
He's the scary, black guy that's in prison or something like that, where they're, it's.
I know where Terry Crews went wrong, though. When they discovered he could do that dance,
The pop and lock and stuff, yeah.
And that's all they had him do forever.
Like, you could do White Chicks 5, you know what I mean? People, he'd still have work. But, like, I think this guy's got, I think he's got depth.
Don't invoke that, man. Now it's a thing that'll happen.
Yeah, it'll happen.
Oh, jeez.
But, like, yeah, he's got talent, man. He can do a lot more.
He's a talented dude. He's come a long way since T-Money.
Seriously.
Yeah.
Yeah, since T-Money. What was that show? Not WMAC Masters. It was one of those shows that used to follow wrestling on Saturday mornings.
Oh,
I'll look it up. No, Tom, don't worry about that. It's
he does a Brooklyn Nine-Nine, which is just get picked up by
he's awesome
NBC, by the way, and he's great in that.
Yeah, he is.
He's really good.
I'm not a fan of the show.
I'm not either, but I'm glad it got picked up.
I'm not hating on the man. Let him do his thing.
Yep. Yeah, let him. Gotta make that money, man.
All right, so the movie is called Sorry for Bothering You. It stars a lot of really cool people doing a lot of interesting things. That's very disjointed, very confusing, and ultimately disappointing. I am so disappointed and bummed to have to give this a thumbs down, but I just can't do it. And the thing is, if this was like a series of short vignettes or on a website, it'd be amazing. But the fact that it's a seemingly coherent movie, even though it's very much not, I can't recommend it. I'm sorry. It's kind of a bummer.
Bummer.
Yeah.
Well, I'm going to have to think for myself and see it.
Oh, really?
See it myself now. Yeah.
You're the authority?
Yeah.
Lakeith.
All right. This has been the Geek Down here on WEMF Radio. I want to thank you all for joining us. I want to thank Black Adam Willis.
Yes, sir.
I want to thank Meffy Meth.
Thank you.
I want to thank DJ Tom. I want to thank Three Finger Tom.
Woo! Tom the Terminator.
I want to thank you all for joining us here on WEMFradio.com. But also, if you were just listening, you can watch us on Twitch and on YouTube at twitch.tv/TheGeekDown. Or you go to YouTube and search The Geek Down. We're usually the first result that comes up. And also, if you heard anything tonight on the show you want to chime in on, let us know what you think or what we're wrong about, what we're right about, you got recommendations, etc. Or you want to find out more about Buffy the Sing-Along, Once More with Pasties, or any of that good stuff that comes on, Holy Crow, The Mefster, all that decent stuff. Hit us up at geekdownradio@gmail.com. And hopefully, if you're in the Boston area, you can check out the Buffy Sing-Along at
Once Somerville, 156 Highland Avenue on June 3rd at 6:30 p.m.
Finally got it.
Nailed it.
Yes. All right. And also, you can go to geek-down.com for all the good stuff. Find our blogs there. Find the reviews, the news, and the links to all the social media. Follow us on Twitter, on Facebook. We're all over the sucker. On SoundCloud, on iTunes. Man, you can't get rid of us. But for now, we got to leave you. So we'll catch you all next Monday night. Same bad time, same bad channel. But until then, be excellent to each other. Peace.
Exactly. I'm the same way. I already know.